You know, one of the most unsettling things I hear from people over 60 is this quiet confession. My hands keep tingling, and my legs don't feel like they belong to me anymore. I can see the fear behind their eyes, the silent question. Is this the beginning of something worse? If you've ever felt those mysterious pins and needles crawling up your fingers, or that alarming weakness that makes your knees feel like jelly, let me tell you, you're not imagining things. And more importantly, you're not alone. These symptoms often sneak in gradually, disguised as minor annoyances. But they can signal a deeper issue that most doctors don't talk enough about: your body's silent struggle to repair itself as collagen levels decline. Collagen isn't just some beauty industry buzzword for wrinkle creams. No, it's the structural lifeline for your joints, your nerves, and your mobility. Think of it like the glue that holds your body together. As we age, especially past 50, that glue starts thinning out unless we deliberately do something to support it. Now here's the real kicker. You don't need expensive supplements or invasive treatments to start fighting back. What if I told you that the most powerful solution might already be sitting in your kitchen? There are certain foods, simple, delicious, easy to make snacks that are naturally rich in collagen, or the very nutrients your body needs to build more of it. These snacks are not gimmicks. They're backed by science, recommended by leading experts like Dr. William Li, who has spent his career studying how food can actually regenerate damaged tissue. In this journey I'm about to take you on, we're going to explore 8 of these powerhouse snacks. But more than that, I want to help you understand the why behind each one, so you know exactly how they help your joints bend with ease, how they strengthen the nerves in your fingers, how they help you reclaim the vitality that aging tries to steal. Because once you understand that, you're no longer guessing. You're taking back control. And that feeling, that agency, is often the first real step toward healing. Let me start with something that might sound too good to be true: chocolate. But not the sweet, milky kind you find in vending machines or at the checkout line. I'm talking about rich, dark chocolate, the kind packed with over 80% cacao and almost no sugar. This isn't candy. This is medicine masquerading as dessert. And when chosen correctly, it can become one of the most powerful collagen-supporting tools in your pantry. You see, dark chocolate contains a class of compounds called flavanols and proanthocyanidins. Those are big words, but their role is simple and vital. They help stimulate your body's own repair systems by boosting stem cell production, reducing inflammation, and even protecting your DNA from the tiny daily assaults of stress and aging. Dr. William Li, a Harvard-trained physician and food as medicine researcher, has repeatedly emphasized the regenerative power of dark chocolate when it's pure, unprocessed, and consumed in moderation. This isn't about indulgence. It's about intervention. So how do you turn this into something both healing and enjoyable? Here's what I do. I take a small piece of very dark chocolate, melt it gently, and stir in a handful of dry roasted almonds and a pinch of dried goji berries. The almonds bring in protein and amino acids, those building blocks your body craves to form new collagen. The goji berries add a hint of natural sweetness and are rich in vitamin C, which is essential for helping your body use collagen effectively. I spoon the mixture into little clusters, let them chill until firm, and what I get is a rich, chewy bite that not only satisfies my craving, but quietly goes to work reducing inflammation, nourishing my joints, and restoring vitality to my legs and hands. Now, let me be clear. Not all chocolate is equal. You have to read labels, choose cacao levels of 70 to 85%, and avoid added sugars and artificial ingredients. And if you can find single-origin chocolate, even better, it tends to have higher antioxidant levels and fewer impurities. The next time your fingers start tingling or your knees creak as you stand, think back to this moment. Something as small as a bite of dark chocolate, when chosen wisely, could be part of a daily ritual that keeps you walking strong, moving freely, and feeling like yourself again. There's something about gelatin that most people overlook. Maybe it's the way we grew up thinking of it as just a jiggly dessert at potlucks or hospital trays. But what if I told you that behind that wobble is one of the most concentrated bioavailable sources of collagen you can give your aging body? Yes, gelatin, real, unflavored, protein-rich gelatin is collagen in a pre-digested form, ready for your cells to absorb and use immediately. And that's a game changer when you're battling joint stiffness, nerve pain, or that frustrating sense of physical decline that sneaks in after 60. Gelatin is rich in 3 amino acids your body desperately needs as you age: glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. These are the core ingredients your tissues use to build and repair collagen. Without them, you may feel your body slowly stiffen, your movements become less fluid, your steps less confident. In a clinical study, participants who consumed gelatin before exercise reported up to 37% less joint pain over time. That's not placebo. That's measurable change. Imagine what that could mean for you walking without that constant ache, standing up without bracing yourself first, feeling steadier on your feet again. Let me tell you how I prepare my own collagen-rich gelatin treat. I start with a cup of unsweetened cherry or pomegranate juice. Both are full of antioxidants that fight inflammation from the inside out. I warm the juice, gently, not boiling. Just enough to steam, then stir in 2 tablespoons of unflavored gelatin powder until it dissolves completely. Here's where the magic happens. I mix in a few fresh berries, maybe a handful of chopped walnuts, and pour the mixture into small silicone molds. After a few hours in the fridge, I have these soft, chewy bites that are light on the stomach but heavy on healing. Every bite works quietly to rebuild what age has worn down. It supports your joints, so climbing stairs doesn't feel like scaling a mountain. It soothes your nerves, so those sudden shocks or tingles in your hands don't jolt you out of sleep. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds you that you still have power over how you age. You can make something simple, something real, with your own 2 hands, and in doing so, give your body exactly what it needs to move forward with strength and confidence. Let me take you to a place that feels like home. A slow Sunday afternoon, the scent of something warm drifting through the kitchen, a pot gently simmering on the stove. That, my friend, is not just comfort food, it's medicine. I'm talking about bone broth, specifically chicken bone broth. And before you brush it off as old-fashioned or too much trouble, hear me out. This is one of the most profound natural remedies we have, especially if you're over 60 and waking up with aching knees, tingling fingers, or legs that feel like they're fading beneath you. Bone broth is a treasure chest of collagen, but more importantly, it contains amino acids like glycine and proline that help rebuild connective tissue, soothe damaged nerves, and restore the cartilage that cushions your every step. When you slowly simmer bones for hours, real bones, like those left over from a roasted chicken, the collagen breaks down into a form that's easier for your body to absorb. It becomes more than soup. It becomes a signal to your body. We are rebuilding now. Making bone broth isn't fancy. It doesn't require special tools or expensive ingredients. I take leftover chicken bones, toss them into a pot with water, add a splash of apple cider vinegar to draw out the minerals, and throw in chopped onions, celery, carrots. Nothing complicated. Then I let it simmer low and slow for 8 hours or more. When it's ready, I strain it into jars and store it in the fridge. As it cools, it thickens into a soft gel. That's the good stuff. That's collagen. But I don't stop there. I'll warm up a cup, squeeze in some lemon juice for vitamin C to help my body use the collagen, sprinkle a bit of fresh parsley for nutrients, and sip it like a tonic. Within days, I notice something subtle but profound. The creak in my knees quiets down. That shocking jolt I used to feel in my hands when I grabbed something cold that starts to fade. My steps feel surer, my grip steadier, and there's something deeply healing in the ritual itself. When you make bone broth, You're not just feeding yourself, you're caring for your body in the same way you'd care for a loved one. That matters, especially in a world that often rushes us past our pain or hands us pills instead of answers. Bone broth says, "I see you. I honor what your body has been through, and I'm giving you what you need to keep going stronger, steadier, more like yourself again." There's a moment in the morning just after I wake when I pause and check in with my body. Do my legs feel steady? Are my fingers still stiff? And on some days, when I've been taking good care of myself, the answer surprises me. There's less tightness, more fluidity. One of the quiet contributors to that improvement? Something so simple, you might walk right past it in the grocery store. Cantaloupe. Now I know what you might be thinking. How could a sweet summer fruit possibly help with something as stubborn as joint stiffness or nerve discomfort? But here's what most folks overlook. Without enough vitamin C, your body simply cannot produce collagen. No matter how much collagen you consume, if you're not giving your body the cofactors it needs to use it, it goes to waste. And cantaloupe happens to be one of the best natural sources of vitamin C that's gentle on the stomach and easy to absorb. 1 cup of ripe cantaloupe gives you nearly 2/3 of your daily vitamin C needs. That's not just a number. That's support for the enzymes that convert amino acids into usable collagen. That's lubrication for the joints. That's fuel for tissue repair. And when paired with other anti-inflammatory ingredients, cantaloupe becomes more than refreshing. It becomes therapeutic. Here's how I prepare what I call my cantaloupe mint bowl. I cube the cantaloupe into bite-sized pieces, drizzle fresh lime juice over the top, and toss in a handful of fresh mint leaves. That's already beautiful on its own. But then I add chopped pistachios not just for crunch, but for healthy fats and plant protein that support joint health and help balance blood sugar, which can indirectly reduce inflammation. The result is bright, cooling, slightly tangy, and deeply satisfying. But beyond the taste, what I love most about this bowl is what it represents. It's a choice, a daily act of self-respect. Instead of reaching for processed snacks that leave my body confused and inflamed, I'm choosing something that gently nudges my system toward balance. And while one bowl might not work miracles overnight, repeated over days and weeks, this becomes part of a healing rhythm. A rhythm that your body learns to trust. A rhythm that helps your knees bend more easily, your fingers grip more firmly, and your spirit feel just a little more alive. Sometimes the most powerful remedies are the ones hiding in plain sight. I want to talk to you about tomatoes. Yes, tomatoes. They're not exotic, they're not trendy, but they are quietly loaded with the nutrients your aging body needs to protect the collagen you already have and encourage the body to build more. And if your joints ache, your fingers feel tight, or your nerves send out little shocks of discomfort, what I'm about to share might change how you look at this everyday fruit forever. Tomatoes are rich in vitamin C, which we've already talked about as an essential cofactor in collagen production. But they also contain something even more remarkable: lycopene. Lycopene is a powerful antioxidant that doesn't just support new collagen growth, it shields the collagen you already have from breaking down. And here's something you might not know. When tomatoes are lightly cooked or warmed, their lycopene becomes significantly more bioavailable. That means your body can absorb and use it more efficiently. For aging joints and frayed nerves, that's a big deal. So here's what I make when I want something healing but delicious. I slice up a ripe, juicy tomato and layer it with pieces of fresh mozzarella. But if you're avoiding dairy, avocado makes a creamy, nutrient-dense substitute. I drizzle it all with extra virgin olive oil, not just for flavor, but because healthy fats help your body absorb all those antioxidants. Then I tear a few fresh basil leaves, let them sit on top for a minute to release their oils, and just let the whole thing rest. It's not just a salad. It's a restoration ritual. When I eat this, I'm not just feeding my hunger. I'm nourishing the parts of me that hurt, the hips that don't swing like they used to, the hands that fumble with buttons, the knees that ache after a short walk. And I'm doing it in a way that feels elegant, simple, and sustainable. This snack doesn't require a fancy diet. It doesn't require a long grocery list. It just requires presence and a little intention. And maybe that's the deeper truth in all of this. Healing doesn't have to come in big gestures or miracle cures. Sometimes it begins with a tomato, with the quiet wisdom of knowing that what your body craves is often what nature has already provided. We just need to remember how to listen and respond with care. Now let me take you on a short trip to the tropics, where something vibrant, fragrant, and astonishingly powerful grows quietly on trees. Guava. Most people pass it by in the produce section without realizing what they're missing. But if you're dealing with weak legs, tingling fingers, or stiffness that won't let go, guava might just be one of the most potent allies your body's been waiting for. And here's why. Guava is one of the richest sources of vitamin C on the planet. Just 100 grams of this humble fruit gives you more than 200 milligrams of vitamin C, several times more than a whole orange. That's not just impressive. That's essential. Because as we age, our bodies lose efficiency in making and using collagen, the protein responsible for keeping our skin firm, our joints fluid, and our nerves functioning properly. Without enough vitamin C, that whole system stalls. The pain lingers, the strength slips, and we start feeling like strangers in our own skin. But here's the beautiful part. When guava is paired with protein-rich foods like Greek yogurt, it doesn't just boost your collagen levels. It activates your body's full healing response. You're feeding your cells the exact nutrients they need to rebuild, regenerate, and protect. And that's where my guava yogurt bowl comes in. I take fresh, ripe guava, fragrant, slightly pink, bursting with flavor, and slice it into small cubes. I stir it into a bowl of plain Greek yogurt, then drizzle in a little raw honey for natural sweetness and a squeeze of lime juice to amplify the vitamin C. But I don't stop there. I top it with chopped almonds or walnuts for crunch, healthy fats, and added minerals that support joint and nerve function. Every spoonful is refreshing, creamy, zesty, and deeply nourishing. And what's more, this isn't just food, it's a ritual of renewal. It reminds me that recovery doesn't have to be complicated or synthetic. It can be gentle. It can taste good. It can be as simple as taking 5 minutes to sit down, eat slowly, and let my body receive the care it needs. The aches might not vanish overnight, but over time, you begin to notice a steadier gait. Less stiffness in the morning, more energy in the afternoon, and it all started with a piece of fruit that most people never gave a second glance. There's a little green fruit that holds a surprisingly powerful secret, and chances are you've seen it 100 times without realizing what it could do for you. Kiwi. Tiny, fuzzy, easy to miss, but inside, it's a powerhouse of healing, especially for those of us navigating the stiffness, tingling, or creeping weakness that often arrives in our later years. You see, kiwi is absolutely loaded with vitamin C, one of the most critical nutrients for collagen synthesis. And as I've said before, collagen isn't just about vanity or skin. It's about structure. It's about keeping your joints strong, your muscles responsive, and your nerves firing smoothly. When your body has what it needs to produce collagen, you start to notice the difference. Less pain when you move, fewer strange nerve sensations, a steadier sense of balance. Eating just 2 or 3 kiwis a day can flood your system with enough vitamin C to power that entire process. But here's the twist. I don't just eat kiwi straight. I like to build it into what I call a kiwi crunch bowl. I slice up a few fresh kiwis, arrange them in a shallow bowl, and sprinkle toasted walnuts or almonds on top. These nuts are more than texture. They bring omega fatty acids and magnesium, which support nerve health and help calm inflammation. If I'm feeling adventurous, I'll add just a pinch of chili flakes for circulation, or a dash of sea salt to balance the flavors and minerals. It's simple, it's fresh, but it's also deeply therapeutic. What I love about this snack is how fast it works. Within days, I notice my fingers feel warmer. The stiffness that used to greet me each morning, it starts to loosen its grip. My steps feel lighter. My hands steadier. It's not magic. It's biochemistry. You give your body what it's been missing, and it begins to respond not with fireworks, but with gentle shifts that build over time. And perhaps the most empowering part is this. It doesn't come from a bottle or a clinic. It comes from your own kitchen, from your own hands. When you reach for kiwi instead of processed snacks, you're making a statement. You're choosing healing over habit. And in that choice, day after day, your body begins to remember what strength feels like, what ease feels like, what being truly alive feels like. Now let's talk about something that feels like sunshine on your tongue: pineapple. Sweet, tangy, and bursting with tropical flavor, yes. But beneath its brightness lies a quiet strength that your aging body desperately needs. If you've ever stood up and felt that deep ache in your hips, or if your hands go numb when you hold your phone too long, what's inside this fruit could become part of your daily relief. Pineapple contains a powerful enzyme called bromelain. This isn't just some fancy compound scientists toss around, it's one of nature's most effective anti-inflammatories. Bromelain works deep in your tissues, reducing swelling, breaking down proteins that cause pain, and helping your body process nutrients more efficiently. And when you pair that with pineapple's high vitamin C content, you create a 1-2 punch against the stiffness, nerve discomfort, and fatigue that can creep in as collagen breaks down with age. I like to turn pineapple into something more than just fruit on a plate. I make what I call pineapple nut bites. I chop fresh pineapple into chunks, then mix it with a handful of macadamia nuts or cashews. These nuts don't just offer crunch, they bring healthy fats and magnesium, which help support nerve regeneration and keep your energy stable. For an extra layer of healing, I sprinkle cinnamon over the top because cinnamon doesn't just taste warm and comforting, it's known to help balance blood sugar and fight inflammation. A few torn mint leaves, that's my final touch. Mint helps with digestion and adds a cooling contrast to the sweet acidity of the pineapple. Every bite of this snack feels like a small act of celebration. It's vibrant, it's alive, and more importantly, it's working behind the scenes, supporting the systems that keep you mobile, nourishing the tissues that cushion your joints, restoring the subtle strength in your legs, and the confident steadiness in your hands. Over time, I've noticed something remarkable. After days of eating this, I wake up with more energy. My knees don't protest as much. The tingling in my fingers fades into the background, and I move through the day with more ease. And it all starts with a fruit most people overlook. Pineapple isn't just delicious. It's medicine with flavor, a reminder that healing doesn't have to be bland or difficult. Sometimes, it just takes a little attention, a handful of the right ingredients, and the willingness to care for yourself with intention and joy. We've just walked through 8 simple, nourishing snacks, each one a small but mighty ally in your body's fight against aging, pain, and decline. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with something deeper than just recipes. I want to leave you with the truth that too many people forget as they get older. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's just waiting for the support it needs to thrive again. You might have thought the tingling in your hands was just part of aging, that the weakness in your legs was something you had to accept. But now you know better. These symptoms are signals, gentle but insistent calls from your body saying, I need rebuilding, I need nourishment, I need you to care again. And the beautiful thing is, the answer isn't buried in some complicated treatment plan or locked behind a prescription. It's in your kitchen, in your hands, in your daily choices. Dark chocolate clusters that calm inflammation and fuel repair. Gelatin bites that bring your joints back to life. Bone broth that soothes from the inside out. Cantaloupe that hydrates and restores. Tomatoes that protect what you've built. Guava and kiwi that flood your cells with healing vitamin C. Pineapple that works like nature's own anti-inflammatory therapy. Each snack is a tool, a bridge, a whisper from nature that says, "Let me help." The journey back to strength, to clarity, to that grounded, steady sense of self, it's not always dramatic. Sometimes, it's found in the quiet routines. The bowl you prepare with care. The moment you sit and truly taste your food. The day you realize you stood up with less pain than yesterday. These moments add up. They become your new rhythm, your new baseline. And with every bite, every conscious choice, you're telling your body, "I still believe in you." So don't underestimate the power of something small. Healing doesn't have to roar. Sometimes it begins with a spoonful, a smile, and the decision to show up for yourself one day at a time. You have more power than you think, and your journey isn't over. It's just beginning.